Greetings, gamers, fighters, heroes, really, heroes, villains, whatever you are. That's a coincidental way to start this because, normally I record these on Fridays. It's not Friday, it's Sunday. Also, I normally record these because I'm happy about it, but I'm not happy about it. I have not been happy about fighting games for a little while now. It's actually quite upsetting how the situation is working out. Yeah, Black Lightning is great, but that's not who I want to use. I want to use regular old Raiden, and that's a fine costume. Yeah, I played some Street Fighter. I played Street Fighter 6 World Tour. That's a fun mode. It's a fun mode. It is basically Capcom. Hold on just a split second, because I definitely didn't do a sound test, and you guys don't want to lose this recording, do you? No one wants that. Yeah, look at that. I'm so good at this. Anyway. Yeah, the Mortal Kombat, or I should say, Street Fighter World Tour mode is basically an old school NRS mode. They kind of started the whole story mode thing, right? I mean, they weren't the first people to put a story in a fighting game, but they were definitely the first to do it right. Took them a pretty long time. They took, several releases. Anyway, now it's a thing, right? Every developer in the world is making fighting games with story modes, and that's great, except most of them suck anyway. What NetherRealm also used to do, besides be the pioneers of story modes and fun modes in fighting games, was they used to make good fighting games. Isn't that crazy, right? Now we live in a world where the people who used to pioneer the market make the worst ones, and that's really upsetting for me. Anyway. Raiden got passed in Injustice 2. Look at this. Right, and it's a game with superheroes, so his powers are off the charts. Look at that dragon. I forgot about the dragon. That is so pretty. Goodness gracious, that is glorious. We're gonna get another one of those, but first, I'm definitely gonna send him... I can't remember how to do his moves, which, maybe I should just look. Electrocute, electric fly. Yeah, I feel like I pressed that button a couple hundred times. There it is. Abo baba yay, abo baba ya. But, so World is great, but playing it reminds me of what we have lost. It reminds me of how far the industry of games that I love so much has fallen. And I was okay as long as there were just, a couple, a few heroes left. But that ain't none. Every single fighting game developer, AAA fighting game developer, just doesn't care about us. They literally don't care about us. I shouldn't say that. The developers, they do love us. They, when they can, they come online, they talk to us, they put little nods in the game, letting us know they're still paying attention, they still know we're here and we love your games. But the publishers, the people paying for them now are just the devil. They're just monsters. They're literal monsters, and they don't care that they're destroying literal entertainment for kids, for whoever, Now, I can't remember if all the turtles had their own supers, but let's just see.
Leonardo. Captain Cold.
So every fighting game I used to get, I used to give Capcom a bunch of crap because they were maybe not the first, but they did it the best. They were the kings of, ripping people off. We don't need to go too far into Capcom's history of being, being a screw job, but it's well documented. Oh, if you didn't know the Ninja Turtles were in this game, this is probably the best fighting game the Ninja Turtles have ever been in. Street Fighter 6 would be, except they didn't put the Ninja Turtles in that game. They put Ninja Turtle costumes in the game, because what I've always wanted to do is use Ken Masters dressed like Raphael. Not Raphael, not Michelangelo, not Donatello, but I would like to use someone else dressed like them. Now, I get that Capcom has a big stick up their ass about balance and everything, so they didn't want to just, go bananas with the... Yeah, right. High five. Love it, right? And that's just Leo. We're gonna go through all four turtles, because they all have their own move lists and whatnot, and what they do, but the point is they also have their own traits. And Leo's is that he summons all his brothers. And they've all got great animations. And they all do different things. It's so good. Bye-bye. They did so good. I can't, you look down there. Whoever shows up is random. I think the back throw is different too. Right, they come from the left. It's random. It's so good. I think they all have the same super though. I didn't mean to do that. But who cares, right? The Ninja Turtles are great. Maybe next video, you know, like, you guys tell me what you want to see in this game, because the problem is, like, I don't want to play any of the other games. I really don't. I don't want to play any of the other games that are out right now that are fighting games, because they're all rip-offs. The people who made this game, right, look at this. This delicious Ninja Turtle, just, like, fan funnery. It's just, like, a good time. And these are the people who just said, screw it. For the next game, they were just like, and screw it. We don't need to do any, like, we don't need to put any love into the game anymore. We don't need to put any logic or science into it. We're just gonna make a terrible ripoff and put some of the most creative, inventive, most loving properties developers in the industry to work on making it terrible. It's really upsetting that that's the way that, you know, the conclusion of this. This game came out many, many, many years ago. I don't know the exact year. I'm not going to speak out of turn on that, but it was a while ago. It was NetherRealm's like 3 games ago, 3 games ago. My favorite Ninja Turtle is Donatello, you know, the purple thing. It's come up a couple times. Then after this, they did Mortal Kombat 11, and Mortal Kombat 11 had, you know, a fair number of middle fingers in it, but nothing like this game. So, you know, they do have a lot of similars, and they do all have the roll, and they all have this weird shell drop thing, but, you know, like, Donnie's got, like, a mine, that fun thing. I think his uppercut is different. He's just got, like, a weird up stick that does a throw. Right, that's great. Man, this game was so fun. You know, like, it just screwing around with it for a couple of minutes, re-exploring all these crazy characters and all the things they can do. They're superheroes. They didn't have to try this hard, you know, like Batman sells himself. But these guys who made this game, you know, the same people who made Mortal Kombat 1 and apparently just don't care anymore. Anyway, I said, yeah, no matter who you do it with, it triggers the same super for all 3 super, but they all got their own traits and stuff, so even though it's one character, and it only costs 1 character price, you know, like now they would do a character like this, and it would cost 4 times as much as the rest of the characters, and they'd be like, listen, that's the only way it can be done, that's the only way we can make it happen. It's like incredible that they would do that, but they can just do it. They just make a press conference, they have a stream where they say, listen, what the only way we can get this game made by doing is screwing you. Like, literally, we know that we're screwing you. We're well aware that this is us literally taking the piss, you know, just like... Right, Raph's got a problem. He's got an anger issue, so he doesn't, like, chill when he gets hit. Raph's gift is, I think he's just got like a weird rage mode that builds up, or he's got like special moves. What is it? How does his work? Right, he's got it. Oh, and they've all got a weird parry because they're turtles, right? And Raph's got an extra parry because he's super hostile. He's got like yeah, that's it. He gets hype. Raph gets mad, and then I think he can use them to perform some pretty crazy moves. Right, depending on how many of those are stored, which is actually very ironically similar to how Catwoman's works, you know? She's got kind of the same thing going where she charges up a move based on your ability to like do it when you're not busy. He's got a projectile. There's a way to throw the size. I mean, it's like it's a Mortal Kombat game. There's no way they didn't put a side throw in, but apparently I won't be finding it, and that's fine. Anyway, you've seen the super before, but it's nice to see Raph's activation because Raph has that cool combo starter. They've all got their own combo starters for their supers, so, you know, they have different applications in battle, but it's just a tremendous amount of love shown to a bunch of characters that literally don't even belong in this game. You know, like, isn't it crazy that these are the Ninja Turtles in Injustice, a DC product being made by Warner Brothers, being made by the Mortal Kombat developers? Like, that's what I'm talking about, man. These guys were obviously just big old fans. Just big old fans. Everybody knows who Bane is. We don't need to do Mikey.
Enchantress.
Just big old fans of the property, and then they was using their boss's money to just, like, do some neat stuff, and they didn't have the greatest decisions. the decision-making process on Injustice 2 wasn't perfect. Far from it, because good lord. The things they messed up when they made this game. But, alright, you know, Bane, unsurprisingly, my main. If it's a character with command grabs, I'm on board. Oh man, look at that thing. Nope, you're supposed to do that, and then that. There we go. Yeah. For some, you know, like there's a lot of random stuff in this game. For some reason, moves work one way most of the time, and then sometimes the characters just like do it differently. Of course, I'm not making a good example of that now, but trust me, those cases exist in the game. You don't care. You want to see Bane super. I do too. Bane's gift is that he powers up his juice, you know? He's got this stomp, right? And the cool thing about the stomp is that the stomp hits literally anywhere on screen. You're completely far away, and that's the great, you know, like you're Bane, right? So you're gonna be close, but when you're far away, you do the stomp, it gets him. DDT boom time, just serious DDT boom time, which is just great. I mean, you know, like there's superheroes with capes and magic and stuff, and then there's just like this one crazy luchador whose moves list mostly consists of uppercuts, headbutts, and a flipping super DDT. That's magnificent. I love that crap so much. I'm having so much fun just playing this game, and it's like 5-6 years old. I wrestled with which fighting game I was going to play. I wrestled with which fighting game I was going to play because I don't want to play any of the other ones. They all make me mad. Tekken, even the old ones are bad. The new one, they patched in a flipping store too. Mortal Kombat 1, enough said. Street Fighter 6 is actually a decent game, but it comes after years, I mean years of Capcom screwery, and it's filled with screwery. It's filled with bad Capcom decisions, filled with bad Capcom designs. Its only luxury is that it's kind of fun to play. They finally made one that's fun to play again if you don't have a million bajillion years to, like, study Street Fighter, which I get is like the, you know, like the people who play Street Fighter. That's what they do. Look at the range on this forward 3. Man, this is back 3 like. That's pretty epic, but this game had bad anti-airs if I remember correctly. Anyway, they put this, you know, like the Scarecrow in here, which, like, the Scarecrow doesn't fight, right? That's not his thing, but you'll notice he's a monster because the plot is that, you know, he's obviously got you with a pretty heavy dose of fear toxin before this match even starts. And so he's got a couple moves that increase his fear meter, I believe, and when the fear meter is big, like, you know, like being close to you inflicts you with fear, it does something. It was a whole big thing. And, like, once his fear meter is full, he can activate like a crazy buff or something. I really can't totally remember, but it was kind of a weird application for the Scarecrow. I mean, NetherRealm Studios, they love monsters. They absolutely love monsters. They can't get enough of real monsters, so the opportunity to put a character that makes you hallucinate and turns into a giant, you know, like that, great, I get it. This is, I mean, look at it, right? That didn't have to do that. He was, look, did you see? He was what's-his-face for just a second. He was Crane. The bats come out. Let's see that again. The bats, he hooks you through there, right? And then you're there in his dimension, and it sucks in here. All right, some chain slash. Look. It was Dr. Crane for a minute. That's so great. I think his name is Crane. Let me wait. Scarecrow is... No, Ichabod Crane is the name of the guy from Clay Fighter. Oh, I wish Clay Fighter was on something. I'd definitely play some Clay Fighter right now, but I think the only place Clay Fighter might be is on the Switch, and, you know, the Switch has its fair share of problems, compatibility reasons I don't want to hook it up right now. Anyway, that's the Scarecrow. Now, the reason I'm playing this game, the reason I did actually settle on Injustice 2, because, you know, Injustice 2 had its, you know, it wasn't great, it wasn't perfect. But you guys seem to like it. You know, like the people watching the videos, the people watching the view, you know, like y'all don't really seem to care, and I get it, because this is a 7-year-old fighting game, and it's a Warner Brothers game, and it's, you know, like, it's great. I'm not even really playing it, right? I'm just doing super moves. But let me tell you something. Being somebody who, like, runs a fighting game, or runs a YouTube, like, you just learn so much about how the algorithm works. There we go. So this is Damien. You know, it's Robin, but it's Damien, because according to the Injustice lore, Well, Dick actually got killed. Damien accidentally killed him. Accidentally, you know, like he's not that malicious, but he's pretty evil in the story. Anyway, without Dick, you know, Batman is having some troubles, you know, like just keeping the kid on the leash, and of course this is exactly when Superman, you know, it's just like it's a lot. That's how NetherRealm does it. But, so they have a super cutthroat Robin in this one. The last one just had Nightwing in it. Right, but he's like total, like look at his walk. He's even got like a haters gonna hate walk, you know, like he's really, really good. So, it kind of sucked because the character was kind of a pain in the butt to use in the game. Like he didn't wind up being super great, and his trade is like these weird batarangs that like, they're neat, but like, has anyone ever said, you know what I'd like to do is learn how to use a bunch of explodable batarang, you know, like that doesn't seem fun. And it's not. You can get good at it, you can really trick some people up, you can do some tricky stuff, but it did not create a very fun character for people who just wanted to wear a hood and hit people with swords, so. Like I said, NetherRealm Studios, they make weird decisions. They're making games because they're fans, not because they necessarily, or at least they used to be. Again, in these older games, it seemed very much like the reason they were making the decisions that they made was because they cared a lot about the properties and they thought this would be an interesting thing to do with it, you know, like it's Captain Cold, which is one of the lamest possible characters in the DC universe. I mean, they tried with this show, that's probably how he wound up in the game, but he's still just a guy with a cold gun, he's not even a guy, you know, and then I think they rebooted him and now he's got actual cold powers or whatever, but he still uses a gun because that's what people like about Captain Cold, is that he's got this ridiculous gun. Anyway, the neat thing about Captain Cold in this game is that he's really hard to use, but he has been infamously, like it's the, you know, like Sonic Fox, right? The most infamous NetherRealm Studios player of the last, I don't know, 10 years, whatever. He, you know, they were really, really into this game, and they were really into Captain Cold, which everybody hated, right? Because everybody wanted, you know, like Batman or Green Lantern, somebody to be top tier. Anyway, Sonic Fox just kept using Captain Cold. And he was hurting people's feelings, man. He just they kept showing up at tournaments, ruining people's lives with this character that was insisted, could not be good, couldn't be used. Anyway, he made them look like fools. They made them look like absolute fools. The trick is he's got this cold gun, right? And of course, that's Captain Cold's bit. But once the gun is full, he fires this orb. Now, this orb is cool because it's literally freezing him right now, and if he stays in it for too long, he will be frozen. And the thing is, you want to keep charging up your gun, You can put armor on yourself. He's got a bunch of, how do you do the good one? That's forward? Yeah, forward is that. And then you just put him in here and you do stuff to him, but you don't let him fall out. Like, I'm bad, right? But let's say you weren't bad and you just like, I think it costs 2 to do that, right? Then eventually, they freeze. And then you get more combos. And if you're smart, you're already charging your gun back up again, so the second they back off to shoot fireballs or something, you just drop another one on them and then make them block until, guess what? They get froze again before they can get out. Anyway, that was Sonic Fox's whole deal. They just made like an art form out of making people feel stupid trying to play this character that ain't supposed to work. Anyways, it was good times for me, because I love when a low-tier character like really, really shakes up the meta. That's a good time for me. Because I always wind up using low-tier characters, you know? Like, I don't care about Captain Cold, but you saw me talk about Swamp Thing, some of the other characters in this game. They're hard to use, because that's how you know, make Catwoman interesting or something like that. Anyway. Sometimes they make them interesting in ways that don't necessarily make them want to play, but make them really, really fun for me to cheer for in a tournament environment. So that's what happened with Captain Cold, and it was glorious. Now, here's Black Adam, who tragically, you know, he made it into the game because Black Adam's awesome. He's a fantastic character, but it was before the DC Universe gave a crap about him, so they didn't have a lot of material to work with. He was just a weird Middle Eastern / Persian / whatever you want to call him dude who is angry and has magic powers, so he's a threat to Superman. Anyway, DC'd been trying to get the property out of, you know, limbo for a while. They were having some trouble. Is it hard? I don't know. Point is, you know, like, the thing about Black Adam in this game is that he's got powers. He's got lightning powers, which they got rid of Shazam. So, Shazam was the good guy with powers, and you know, like NetherRealm always tries to do like a kind of like a rivalry thing, you know? They usually put a character in there who's like kind of complementary to another character or kind of similar to another character. So having Shazam and Black Adam in the first one was kind of neat to deal with the whole Batman, Superman thing, Yellow Lantern, Green Lantern, whatever. Anyway, in this game, Shazam's dead, so it's just nice to have someone from that section of the DC lore back involved in the plot, even though his plot was like, he just kind of like kept Supergirl secret for a little while. It was weird. The whole plot is weird, but... Shazam! Whole pyramid. Just F the whole pyramid. Don't even know which pyramid it was, to be honest, because we're in Brainiac's ship right now. But we can watch it again, right? He just chucked you all the way to Kahndaq, which Kahndaq ain't real, but it's real enough for him. And then I guess just screw that pyramid. Now you are fighting a Kryptonian, so you might need a whole block of lightning, you know, like a lot of lightning to do some damage to him, but whatever, anyway. Black Adam, cool character, not the best implementation, but hey, this was a game about superheroes by a bunch of people who love superheroes. Now, the fact that there's not an Injustice 3 is pretty telling. The fact that they couldn't get themselves to do another one, they were forced to do another Mortal Kombat game almost immediately after the last Mortal Kombat game, and guess what? This what sucks. So I'm pretty sure the people who are at Warner Brothers who decide which kind of games get made, which kind of games people play, they are not aware, or at least not as aware as they are, you know, like the oh, right, that actually smashes people through walls. Kablamo. You know, they just don't get it. They don't get it. They don't, stab, right? I like Wonder Woman. I'm a big fan of Wonder Woman, like, in the lore. You know, like, recent Wonder Woman's kind of a struggle, because she's, like, really, really, really mean now. Like, she's supposed to be a hero, but they've really turned her into kind of a psychopath, both in, like, comic media and in the comics, you know, the efforts to make her stand out from Superman, to make her stand out from all the other characters that are just, like, brawn. She's all brawn. She's a soldier with a bunch of magic weapons. Just let her be a soldier. But for some reason, that means you gotta be absolutely ruthless. Like, stabbing dudes in the balls, ruthless, and I don't understand why that's what we do with all strong female characters now, but guess what? I ain't female, and also not strong, and I'm not a writer, so I don't get to decide. I just get to do the super moves and critique them, and honestly, as far as super moves in this game goes, Wonder Woman's ain't bad. She used all of her weapons, so that's pretty, you know, it's pretty straightforward. You know what Wonder Woman does. She's got the lasso of truth. She had a couple moves. Good times. Real sad times in the DC universe, you know, the cinematic universe, if only because, you know, they just keep redesign, like, you don't even know what the character's supposed to be like, because every couple of minutes they decide the character should be more edgy or less edgy, or this time it's got a cat or something. It's just like, can we just, like, have a Superman for a minute and be alright with it? Can we just have a Wonder Woman minute? But no. Warner Brothers just new management, new designs, just whatever. So here we go. Oh, I will see, you know, because Black Adam doesn't have the dragon, right? Raiden's got the, you know, Omega Beams. Isn't that fun? If you know anything about Darkseid, you know why these are fun. You know why these, you know, it's just like, it's ludicrous, but it's like, this is a move, isn't it? Right, he's got a knee because he doesn't use his hands, right? This Darkseid stuff. He wasn't in the plot, because if I remember correctly, he had like a weird stomp, didn't he? Okay. That's it, right? So you could do like stuff like this, and then stomp on people. Yeah, I remember. And then, like, this throw is that he literally just, like, that should kill you. But this is, you know, NetherRealm, so he kicks you backwards through a portal. That's pretty fun. I forgot about that. That's pretty funny. Let's see the super. Turns his back, hits you with, oh, that's right, because he hits you with the behind-the-back lasers that hit you from anywhere. So let's see. Send them all the way, lasers. Send them all the way. Isn't that great? I can't believe, like, look how neat that is. Look how inventive that is. Look how creative this is. This could only be done by someone who's read a ton of Apocalypse comics, or at least had the resources at their disposal and spent some time working on it before they put them in the game. Now, granted, it's like he's DLC, you know? Like, it's like, like he's not in the plot. They put all this work on Darkseid for DLC, but at least then it was like you paid for him and you're good. He came with all the costumes, all the loot. Crunch. Any other game, he'd just be tracked just like hours and hours and hours of DLC purchases and just like keep grinding on the game for some stupid currency. It's ridiculous. I can't stand it.
Black Canary.
Black Canary is a martial artist. Now, the weird thing about the DC universe for me is that most of the characters I really like are the people who are just normal. You know, like Batman's cool because he's just a dude. He's a rich dude who's just like a statement on all the things that's wrong about capitalism in the world, but it's nice to see the guy win, so it's like, alright, you know, like, let's have ourselves a Batman story. Anyway, Black Canary was one of those kind of normal characters that, you know, we were kind of surprised she didn't at least make an appearance in the story. From the sounds of it, and of course her gift is naturally the scream. You do it hard enough, you get a stun, you can do combos off of it, you know, there's stuff you can do. I wasn't good at using her, so I don't know what to do next. And of course, you've seen her super because it got like 4,000 views. It was the #1 viewed short in February. The #1, and maybe you don't watch shorts because you're watching this video right now. I ain't made it as short, but suffice it to say, as a content creator, you do not scream at those kind of numbers. So, when every other fighting game in the industry, that I own at least, pisses me off, like literally just upsets me with how obtuse their marketing, their design, their whatever you want to call it is, absolutely I will go back to this one that for some reason people are still watching, still getting views for, still care about, because guess what? It shows. It shows, okay? I've done videos with Mortal Kombat Supers in them. I've done videos with Mortal Kombat, no one cares. I mean, the algorithm doesn't care because it's violent, but the point is, like, nobody's like, yeah, we need more. Warner Brothers has lost the plot on their own series, on their own marketing, on their own designs, and it's so frustrating. Because this is what they did with Aquaman, right? Did you see the Aquaman movie and see anything that cool? Anything as interesting as that? Anything that says that much about the character's lore? Probably not. Right? Like, probably not. It probably didn't come up. There was a bunch of bad CG. This character is great, and it's Aquaman, right? Like, it's so... This guy is so cool! It's Aquaman! He's in a fighting game about... He's a zoner, too! That's the worst part. His power is a water shield. That's kind of dumb. But... What's the other thing he does? It's, Trident, he's got the scoop, he's got the... Oh, right, well, everybody loves the rush, right? You know, like, who doesn't love the Trident rush? And you gotta hold forward, so you just, like, give him the rush, just give it to him. Right, and I think you can, like, charge, you can just, like, keep on giving him the rush. Anyway. Unsurprisingly, they put a lot of effort into Aquaman. Now, granted, this was their second take. The first Aquaman wasn't fantastic, but... They didn't drop him, you know? They didn't kill him, and they didn't drop the character, they didn't get rid of it. They run with him, and they made a great version of him for the sequel. Like, that's so... Like, you don't have to. Charge that bad boy with lightning. Does he run all the way across the stage? Yeah, he does. Get him, Aquaman. He's just swimming after, right? He's just like, I'm gonna stab him when he's done, right? Like, you gotta take him back downstairs, but I will stab him after he's done. So good. Great times. Last up, I think we got, yeah, the kids, which, well, the kid, because they really, you know, for the sake of simplicity, for like plot simplicity, they really took kind of the interesting parts of the, I can't remember his name, the black kid half of Firestorm.
Dr. Fate.
Martin, the doctor, he, you know, like, he's a pretty preeminent part of the plot. He helps him figure out some stuff, but most of the kid is just like, yeah, and the doc says we should do this, and I've got fire powers. Anyway, Firestorm's got, you know, like, he's a scientist, like, he's a science character, so even though, like, his powers in this game are mostly, check out, he's got fire. The real thing about him is that he's got the thermal engine, or whatever it's called, in his chest, and it does a whole bunch of stuff in the comics, but in this it just makes his fire powers powerful, so... As you might imagine, his move list isn't super interesting. It's mostly just like kicks and punches with fire on the end of them. He explodes a little bit. He's got like a, you know, the old school, you know, like Cinder Dash. Throw is just fire. You know, he's got fire, and naturally his super is like fire. But look how cool the fire looks in this super. Look at those effects. So great. So good. I don't know. You know, like, they didn't have to try it. They didn't. It's like you do 2 of these to charge it up, and then you get blue fire, which, if I remember correctly, like, you get, like, slightly different projectiles, and there's, like, yeah, like, that's bigger, and there's a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know. It's not a very popular character, you know, like, among me. You know, well, for starters, he's a zoner. You're supposed to sit back and you're supposed to shoot stuff at him, which is not the way I like to play games. It's an interesting way to play the game. It's an interesting, like, you know, but it's not my way. How much range does this have? Does this full screen? No, it's short range, too, so we're just gonna hit him in mid-range. They try to do some balancing with the supers, you know, versus the character play styles, what they do, but... It's a big game. It's got like, you know, like by the time they finished with the DLC, the game had like, what, 30 characters in it? And it's, you know, at that point, it's tough to come up with new ways to like dramatically punch people, but they did a pretty good job. What is it? 6 times 636 plus the 4 turtles? Yeah, this is good. Now, definitely another alternative in here somewhere. There's definitely 40 plus characters in this game. Anyways, you know, like for 40 characters with God knows how much DLC, with God knows how many moves and options and custom things that they didn't even have to include in the game.
Black Lightning.
Mortal Kombat 1 can't even come close. It's prettier, it's got more costumes to buy, but it's half the game, half the story. The story mode to Mortal Kombat, let me talk. The Mortal Kombat 1 story mode, they really knocked it out, but... You can tell more with every, like, you know, like, no matter what mode in the game you're playing, that, yeah, they finished that, and they didn't even finish it. They came close to finishing story mode. The fist, it's the fist. What does it look like without a combo? Yeah, it's just like a weird anti-air. Can you connect it off the forward one? He's got all the same moves as Raiden, except for, you know, like a couple black blading variants, but... You also get the impression that maybe his budget wasn't so high because he ain't got no voice. He's just grunting and groaning. I think maybe he has one voice, like a Clash line or something like that, but... As far as I can tell, they just had the license and let, you know, and Raiden's moves, and we're like, we're gonna put one more lightning character in the game, and since this one's DC, people won't mind that he's basically Raiden, but he's basically, you know, he's just got all Raiden's moves, and that's fine. It's a neat character. Look at those animations. It's cool. Anyway, I want to thank you, give you a good old-fashioned flippity-floppity-floop. We've been doing this for a while, but I just want to thank you, you know, for participating in what is definitely going to be called Angry at Fighting Games, because I'm still mad at fighting games. Like, I played this game, and yeah, I really enjoyed this game, but it didn't, you know, like, I'm still... mad at all the other fighting games I could be playing right now. So, flippity floppity flip to you. Shout out to you for watching, and I'll see you next Friday.